I had a guy when I was working at No Limit, he said to one of them, he goes, Chris gets all the good leads. Now, at a 19, 20-year-old kid coming in, they don't know who's good or who's not. How was I getting the good leads? I positioned myself like that. His name was Murray. I won't forget his statement. He goes, if Chris doesn't get better leads than me, I'll bear my ass in Burke Street. And I said to him at the time, can we just do a little experiment? He goes, yeah, let him pick any leads he wants and give me any things I want. Now, I'll still close everything. You can't control the borrowing capacities, but your closing rate will be the same.
Yeah.
Like the per sale.
Yeah.
Not the,
so I said, Murray, are you up for it? He goes, sure. I go, Trent, would you allow us to do this for a month? Let's do it. I'm all for it. I mean, we're talking about, let's do it. My results were almost identical. His results were almost identical.
So it wasn't the leads, yeah.
But it's never the leads. It's never the leads. I mean, the quality of the leads will determine if they buy or they don't. Fair enough, based on borrowing capacity. But your booking rate and your mindset, and I knew when my consultants would go out and they'd miss 2 in a row and I'd read their miss reports, I knew that if I don't get them in and talk to them, they're going to keep missing because this is a mindset thing. And the ones that were very, very good and understood that, when they miss, they could reset quick. The ones that would just miss, you could give them anything, they're missing because they didn't have that awareness or that belief. And if you look for a crap lead all the time, you're going to run into crap leads, and your mindset's not going to convert them. So it was always interesting doing that. And as I said, I ran some very, very successful teams from the ground up and opened a lot of states through same principles as I was taught.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned going from closing everything yourself to now I need to share what I've learned, I need to share this knowledge? Like for someone, say, who might be listening to this, who's tried to do that, who might be a really good closer themselves and they can't.
What's the most you can possibly close if I gave you 10 leads? What's the most you can possibly close out of 10?
10.
Cool. That's pretty easy, yeah? Now, if someone's nowhere near as good as you and he's a 70% closer, what would he close out of 10? 7?
Yeah.
You can only do 10, yeah? If I've got 20 leads and someone did 70% and 70, how many leads are they closing?
14.
What's the most one person can close at 100%?
Yep.
Give me 3 people. At 70%, they'll outperform me any day of the week. What if I can upskill them also? So when you look at just the sheer ability that more people performing less will outperform you, and you're one person. I remember I did one thing and I'm all left brain. I analyze data. So my boss goes to me, Chris, how can we get some more sales? And I'm reading the numbers and just studying the numbers, and I go, 80-20 rule. 20% of your team does 80% of your sales. I knew my 3-4 reps. I said, this is what we're going to do. We don't need half of the team because they're not performing anyway. I want you to double book these 4 people for 6 o'clock, 6:15 and 6:30, 8:15 and 8:30. We might miss a few leads because we can't do both, but I'm going to make sure that they go into 2 appointments each, 2 appointments each, 2 appointments each, 2 appointments each. And I want to have backup appointments. We'll get Wendy on the phone. If they go into their first appointment, reschedule. I got more sales with less people because I ensured that we're sitting in front of people. Because you're going to look at the conversions. But we're talking I had 4 or 5 people. If you're only one person, you'll never scale. You'll never be able to make more money. And the hardest thing for someone to accept is they're not going to close like you. Sure, but 2 people will outperform you. It's a sheer numbers game. But also, what's your plan moving forward? You can't be selling all your life on your own. You're not going to build a business. You're not going to scale a business. And you need to transfer your knowledge to somebody else as well. I always loved being on the tools, but also I loved training my team. They're making great money. I can see them learning. I can see them growing. So we used to have our missed reports, and I used to practice their missed reports in front of everybody. So I wanted you to fill out why you think you missed, and I want you to tell me why before I teach you why, and then I'm going to role play with you. So when I was new, I used to take a piggyback out with me. So a new person.
Yeah.
I used to say to them, you're presenting first and I'm watching, then I'm going to analyze it, and then you're going to watch me. And I always used to do that to teach them. So that they might miss, and I'd walk out and I'd say, what do you think first of all? What could you have done better? You? And I said, this is what you could have done. Now watch me break the pact. Watch how I ask questions. Watch how I close. Watch how it goes through the process. Because after they've done it and I've told them on the way to the 8:30, I will actually display what I'm saying. So it was very, very different. So I guess the only way to scale is to build your team. And when you said before, if you're good in sales or you're a good manager, when I got that role, I was a gun salesman. I took that role for granted, which was not like me, but I did. I was making big bucks. I'd rock up late, go to lunch, come back. Then one of my managers put me in the room and it gave me that word. And I said, I didn't even realize I'm sorry. I said, from now on, you'll never have that conversation with me again. I'll be your best department. And the rest is history. But I took that position for granted because I thought I could sell. No one taught me how to lead people. And when I went to ask my manager, you should have taught me, he goes, I pay you the big bucks, figure it out. Because I thought I'm going to cruise along, it's going to be easy, but it was just me managing me. But when I need to manage big budgets, sell a lot of property, make a lot of money, it was very different. So, and the best way to learn is to make mistakes. The best way to learn is to reflect on what you could have done better, to be honest with yourself. And I always say it's having a champion mentality, not a victim. If you're always blaming everything else, the leads, I used to say to people, I can train anyone, but as soon as you start making excuse on the miss reports, at that point, I can't train you anymore. So I'll train you as much as you want. And I used to say to them, every Tuesday, I train the whole team in front of everyone. And then if you wanted to personally come, Robin, me train you personally, I want you to give me the missed reports and you book in a session with me. You tell me what you could have done different. And the person that went to that effort to do it was getting better and better. For me that was forcing people to train and coach them, I said, if you miss and you make excuses, at that point I can't train you. The results will work themselves out. Either you stay or you don't. But the ones that showed me initiative, the ones that showed me effort, were the ones I spent time with. And that was only through experience. At the start, you want to help everyone. I want to get better, but you haven't put no effort to try to get better. What's the last book you've read? Look at your missed reports. Give me something to work with.
Yeah. It's you can't help someone who is going to blame anything else. Point the finger at, the sun, the weather, it rained today, this happened, I was late, traffic. But
that took time for me to learn. And my boss would say, because I was always early, he said, don't want to get traffic, just leave earlier, mate. Show up on time. Because when I first got hired in the industry, it was something like out of a Boiler Room movie. I remember the main guy flew down wearing a Versace suit. And his meeting was literally something out of a movie, right? It was like Glengarry Glen Ross. He walks in with his Versace, looked good. He goes, all right, listen up, guys. We're going to train you guys for 2 days, 6 hours each. We're going to get you out there. Some of you will sink, some of you will swim. For the ones that swim, well done. For those who sink, you come back. You do one more day training for 6 hours. If it doesn't work, you're fucking fired. And walks out of the room.
Just like that.
Just like that. All I thought in my head is, I'll show you.
How long ago was this? This was when you first started?
I was 19.
You couldn't do that today, could you?
Absolutely not. I thought, I'll show you. 2 people quit after this speech. It was something out of a movie, and I thought, that got me up. But what I learned is although that worked for me, there could have been other people that don't respond to that. So my job as a good leader is to understand what motivates you, what makes you a better closer. I know the guy who wasn't that good, and I was very, very arrogant when I was young. I was like that. That's why they responded to that. I remember a guy came up to me. He worked with me for many years. His name was Steve Hatzolis, beautiful man. And I don't remember doing this, but he told me, and it sounds like something I would have done. He goes to me, he asked me a question. And my response to that question, how many sales are you on this month? And he says like 0. And I said, I'm on 7. And I walked off on him. He goes, do you remember doing that to me, Chris? And I said, no. But it sounds like something I would have done when I was younger. This guy turned out to be a very slow starter, became a gun, an amazing closer, not through sales, through being likable. But it took him a long time to get to that. And I thought to myself, if you can train people, it's like I've got 4 kids. If I parent them all the same, I won't bring the best out in each of them, will I?
They're all different, right?
It's like they've got 8 different parents, my kids. They're very, very different. So you need to... The same when you're coaching or mentoring someone, and I've got different mentors and business coaches, if they only have one way, that might not be able to motivate you or inspire you to become better.
Yeah, like if you're talking to a room, you might connect with 2, but you're going to miss the rest.
Correct. Yeah. And back then, the industry that I started, it was all sales. It was like that. But I loved it. I thrived in that environment.
Go for it.
You just mentioned something then, coaches and mentors. Do you think that's helped you a lot in your career?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Super important.
Do you think it's almost a prerequisite, really, as a business owner, if you want high levels of success? You know, we're much the same. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in our coaching and mentoring and personal development stuff, and that's actually where we met and where we became friends and then business partners and a whole range of things. But yeah, because I see a lot of people go through the day-to-day grind for many years, and as you kind of said, have that level of arrogance and don't actually go out and get help and seek advice from advisors, from mentors, from coaches, because they can do it, because they might be really good practitioners, you know, have the skills that they've got that got them where they are today, but they're not the skills that are going to get them
they kind
where
of
they need to be.
And what gets you from 0 to 1 million, 1 million to 10, or 10 to 100 are different skill sets. And unequivocally, the answer is yes, you need good mentors. Although I was very, very good at sales and arrogant, I understood one thing. I need good people around me. So I always had good mentors. And people, you have mentors, you have teachers at school. Olympic athlete has coaches. Why wouldn't you have a coach for business? And as hard as it is, you know, Jack Welch rates everyone A, B, C, but he looks at it as that's the level of team member, staff, whatever. From GE now, that doesn't apply to a lot of people. But when you read books like Winning and you learn all this stuff, there's so many good takeaways you can take. Now, for me, it was an essential part of my growth. And I still today employ a ton of my money and investment. If you don't invest in yourself, why should someone else? And the best investment you're ever going to make, the best return, if you speak to anyone, the first thing they're going to say to you is myself. Second thing they'll typically say is a business. Third will be shares, property, crypto, anything like that. But in order, it's investment in themselves. And they hang around people that are super successful, billionaires worth hundreds of millions, and they teach you a different way to think. They inspire you differently. And if you're that arrogant to think you don't have a ton to learn, you look at people like, and I love Stoicism, I love Socrates, I love reading, I love learning. All I know is nothing. And the oracle said this guy's the smartest man alive. And that was his philosophy because he wanted to learn and wanted to grow. And I guess that takes us back to when I was talking about sales. Although I was closing, I won Rookie of the Year, did 83 sales in my first year, I knew that I wanted to keep improving. Now, could I have become better at sales and closing? Sure. But I knew that I still wanted to keep learning. And I was out working and out training, I think, the whole team. Because it was a passion. It wasn't a forced, hey, Chris, do you want to go do this course?
9 to 5. And that's probably what it is for a lot of people too, where they just come in and they want to do their hours and clock out.
But that's fine too.
Absolutely.
So when people talk about that, I make no bones with that.
If you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. And if you want to watch the full episode, click just over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.